If you're into health and fitness at all, you've definitely thought about protein. I mean, we're all trying to get enough of it, right? But what if the whole way we think about protein is just wrong? What if it's not about how much you eat, but how much your body can actually use? So let me ask you this. You drink that protein shake, you eat that chicken breast. You're expecting it to go to work, right? Building muscle, giving you energy. But is it? Is your protein really pulling its weight? Or is a huge chunk of it just going to waste? And that leads us to a pretty big issue that most people never even talk about. It's what we could call the protein waste problem. Turns out, not all protein is created equal. And honestly, a huge amount of what we eat might not be doing us any good at all. Okay, look at this chart. It kind of says it all, doesn't it? You might eat 100% of the protein in your meal, but your body, well, it might only be able to use a tiny fraction of that from things like meat, eggs, and even whey protein. We're talking somewhere between just 16 and 48%. That's a massive gap. So, what happens to all that leftover protein, the stuff your body can't use? It becomes what's called nitrogen waste. So instead of building you up, it actually becomes a byproduct that your body has to work overtime just to get rid of. But what if you could close that gap, like almost completely? This is where a totally different way of thinking about protein comes in, one that's all about pure, simple efficiency. So how do you do that? Well, one approach is with something like Super Amino 23. The whole idea here is to deliver protein in a smarter way. We're not talking about a big powder shake. We're talking about pre-digested vegan tablets that have a super precise ratio of the 8 essential amino acids your body needs. It's a formula literally designed for maximum efficiency, and it's even been noted in the physician's desk reference. Okay, so how on earth is that kind of efficiency even possible? Well, let's get into the science, because this is where it gets really cool. This is what's known as the 99% utilization advantage. The key concept we need to understand is called net nitrogen utilization, or NNU. Just think of it like a grade, a report card for your protein. It's a scientific measurement of how good your body is at turning the amino acids you eat into actual, usable protein for building muscle and repairing tissue. And this, well, this is the number that changes everything. A product like Super Amino 23 is said to have an NNU score of 99%. 99%, that's practically perfect, meaning almost none of it is turning into that useless waste we talked about. So let's put it head to head. You've got Super Amino 23 on one side, with 99% getting used by your body and only about 1% going to waste. Then on the other side, you have your typical food proteins, where best case, you're getting maybe 48% utilization, and more than half of it is just waste. The difference is just staggering. And the secret sauce? It all comes down to giving your body the 8 essential amino acids, the ones it absolutely cannot make on its own, in the perfect, highly optimized ratio. The idea is, if you give the body these pure building blocks exactly how it needs them, it can just get to work. Maximum absorption, no fuss. Okay, so that's the science. But what does this actually feel like? What does it do for you when protein works this well? Well, the benefits are apparently pretty fast-acting. How fast? How about 23 minutes? That's how long it's claimed to take to get into your bloodstream. And because these aminos are pre-digested, they basically get to skip the line. They don't have to go through that whole long digestive process like a steak or a shake. They just get in there and get to work, fast. So you've got this lightning-fast absorption combined with near-perfect utilization. And that powerful 1-2 punch is what leads to the core benefits. Your body gets exactly what it needs, when it needs it, with almost zero downside. So let's follow the chain reaction here. That 99% usable protein goes straight to creating lean muscle, and a more muscular body naturally burns more fat. At the same time, these aminos help support collagen, which can lead to better skin elasticity. And since your brain needs these exact same amino acids to function, you get the fuel you need for sharper thinking. It's all connected. So what's the big takeaway from all this? I think it's a huge wake-up call to rethink how we look at protein. We need to shift our focus away from just how much, from sheer quantity, and start thinking about intelligent quality. This quote really just nails it. It says that just 5 grams of these amino acids can give your body the same building power as 10 grams of a typical protein. Why? Simply because almost none of it gets wasted. It all comes down to what your body can actually use. And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We spend so much time counting grams, hitting these huge protein numbers, but what if we've been missing the point? What if all this time, efficiency
was the real key to unlocking your body's true potential.